Hey Scrappers, it's Vanessa here, and today I have a layout for Traci Reed Designs, and it is Technique Tuesday. And Technique Tuesday, the theme for today is mixed media, so paint splatters and messy paint. And so I'm going to show you how to add that mixed media look to your project, but without the mess. I know a lot of people don't like the messiness of mixed media. So I thought I would show a few different things that you could do to add the look without having to wait for the paint to dry, or having that chance that your splatters, for example, go places that you don't want that ink to go. So I'm going to show you, I thought for the first part of this video, I would kind of create the background and show you what I'm using, and then we'll speed up the video and actually put the project together. So what I pulled out to use, and these are just a few, I have other items like this in my stash, but I just pulled out a few to use for my background. I'm going to use all of the different items that I show you so that you can see, you can create a background with either one or all of these items if you have them in your stash. So the first one I have is a Tim Holtz stencil, and this one sort of has the look of paint splatters. So of course with this you're going to use ink, and you are going to be able to place these wherever you want them on your project. So this keeps it so that there is zero mess, and you can choose where you want to place those ink splatters. Same thing goes for my stamp sets here. I have two different ones from Journals for Life. I have other stamp sets in my stash as well that have this same kind of idea, but these ones I pulled, they were close by. So this has, if I want to add paint, you know, stripes of paint, messy painting, or like the splatters, and then I have a smaller splatter over here. So all of these will give you, with ink, that same look as adding the messier sort of actual wet matte or wet materials to your project, like inks or actually wet paint, with using Distress Oxide ink. This way you don't have the mess or the dry time that you get with sort of something like using a Vibes or an actual paint medium such as actual craft paint. So I'm going to use a combination of those. And then lastly, I have some of these distress stains in my stash. I don't know if they sell these anymore, but if you have any of these in your stash, these are excellent to use to create paint splatters. They have the already built-in dauber, and when you use them, if you just tap them down on your project, it will create a paint splatter all on its own, and there's no mess, and it dries almost instantly. So I'm going to go ahead and use these two colors. So I have, let's see, this is Bundled Sage and Tumbled Glass, and then I have Prize Ribbon and Lucky Clover as Distress Oxide inks. So I'm going to use all of these. So obviously I have a blue-green combo going here, which if you've noticed my projects lately, I seem to be on a kick of blue and green because I've had several projects that have had those exact colors. This one has more colors in it than just these two, but yeah. So we're going to go and start our background, and I'm going to use the paint daubers first, and then I'm going to come in with the stamps and the stencil. So all you do, if you have these in your stash, grab them, match them up to whatever project you're doing, and simply tap them down. And if you see that, it creates this perfect little paint splat. And again, I can control where and how many, and oftentimes even how big I want my splatters. And again, it's only going really where I want it to. And so it's fantastic. I love these. I haven't actually pulled them out to play with them in forever. And I was so glad when Traci had this as one of the ideas or techniques for this month. I thought I would definitely do a project that was using paint splatters, but not the messy, like take it and tap that brush and sometimes it goes where you don't want it to. So I'm really loving pulling these out again and using them up. I don't really use them for anything other than something like this. This is always generally how I've used these. So obviously you can kind of see I'm kind of going for a diagonal design. I really don't have any clue what I'm going to do for my project yet. So I'm kind of winging it with where I'm placing everything. So we'll see if this background suddenly looks different when I go to create my page. It might be because I end up changing it if I decide to design my page differently. But for now, we're going with a sort of diagonal design. And now let's pull out a stamp block, and give me one sec. I need to get something to put my ink for my splatters. Now I'm going to, I think I'm going to stamp in the Lucky Clover maybe. And I think I'm going to go for the look, since I already have the splats from the Distress Oxide. I think I'm definitely going to continue with the splat sort of idea. And we are going to ink up the stamp and stamp these down. Now give me one sec. I don't have everything I need in place because there we go. I have my stamp block here. I had people ask me where I've gotten this. It is very old, but I know that or at least I think that Crafter's Companion has one of these type of foam blocks that you do stamping on. So this just gives you a nice surface to do stamping, and so that's what I'm using. So I'm going to add some of these random, and one thing if I'm using these stamps, I do, in order to keep that randomness, I do move it around so it's not exactly in the same position every single time I stamp it. That again adds to the feel and look of the randomness that you get with ink splatters, and so I definitely like to make sure I continue that. And don't drop your stamp on your project. That's also key. And so the other thing too, I always like to let any mixed media or anything that I do on my projects, I like to make sure it goes off the page so that you get that sort of flow where things kind of fall off your page. And then I think I'm just going to use that one stamp because I have now this paint splattery stencil. I'm going to use some prized ribbon and just a little stencil brush to put some splatters in this sort of very close together splatters, I guess you could say. But I can make it random because I don't have to do the whole thing. I can kind of just place it down and add it throughout my project. And again, I'm able to then place these where I want them and make them as dark or as light as I want and add them only where I want them. So again, another great reason to add mixed media to your projects, but you can do it in such a way that you're not have fear of ruining your project, because you can place it exactly where you want it. And so I'm just going to add a little bit of this in and bring it down throughout my project. And I often will say, and I know a lot of people who do mixed media, and I'm in no way a mixed media expert, but a lot of people will say more is more kind of concept. So if you don't like it at first, keep adding to it. That's the one thing with mixed media. I find the more you add, oftentimes the better your projects look. And then once you've gotten everything on your page, a lot of times, even if you might not have liked how the mixed media has turned out at the beginning, by the time you have everything done, it tends to, in my opinion, usually turn out better than I thought. And so I think I'm going to call this good. Just going to add just a little bit over here and a little bit over here. Because, you know, sometimes you do get that splatter that goes over further than you might want, but I'm okay with that. And with these stencil brushes, you can make it darker or lighter however you want, and really have a nice control over it. So we're going to call that good for our background. So as you can see, I have the look of those paint splatters, but without the mess, and I can just go and start creating my project immediately because nothing needs to dry. So we're going to speed up the video and put this layout together. Okay, and we are back, and I have gone ahead and added part of, I guess what you could say is a title with that banner. I am using the Happy Birthday and Happy Day collections from Traci Reed. Both of those kind of coordinate together, and so I have a combination of the embellishments and papers from both of those collections. And so I did go ahead and put down that Celebrate because it was really fiddly. I glued it to the twine, and then I put it across the top of the page, and then off camera I did go ahead and just cut down those pattern papers, and I'm just going to layer them up behind my photo. So there's plenty of color and fun bright colors on this page. Now I have sort of separated into some clusters, a whole bunch of embellishments. Like I said, these are from both of the collections. So I have bits and pieces from the digital collection, as well as the sticker sheets. And I've just gone ahead and cut them all out. And I'm just going to use the combination of all of these embellishments to put, I guess, 3 embellishment clusters on the diagonal on this page. And so that's what you see me doing here. I've built the first one up there at the top. I have the second one just above the photo, and then the third one's going to go down here in the bottom right corner. And so I'm just playing around and auditioning where all the pieces are going to go. I'm doing lots of layering with another banner down here at the bottom. I have stars and some journaling spots, and I pulled stars from the sticker sheet as well as the digital collection, and so I have spread those around the page. And so I'm just going to finish up with a few of these sort of streamer type little finishing touch embellishments. And once I have all of that in place, I do go off camera and glue all of that down. So you're going to see that here in just a sec. I am showing you, I'm going to put the word to right there in what I guess you could call the actual title, which is Hooray to You. It's just a photo of some plushies on my son's bed, and my daughter had set up all the plushies and wrote a little sign to say happy birthday to her brother from his plushies for his birthday. And so that's what this little picture of. It's super cute. And so I thought it was perfect with all the bright colors of this collection. And as you can see now with the page coming together, I'm just adding enamel dots to finish up the page. And as you can see, our mixed media without the mess background fits perfectly with all these bright colors. I chose to do the mixed media in just a combination of the blues and greens, just to keep it from being super busy because I knew how much color was already in the pattern papers and the embellishments that I was using. So just using those two colors kind of just helps tone it down just a little bit in the background, but there's plenty of fun color and splatters, and definitely the mixed media look, like I said, without the mess and the dry time. So I was able to complete this layout pretty quickly. So once I finish scattering in the rest of these enamel dots, I will have some still photos on the end of the video. And don't forget to check out Traci's blog to see how everyone else that is playing along today is doing this mixed media technique, and so you can get lots of inspiration. And so with that, guys, we're going to call this one done. Here are those still photos, and I will catch you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.